Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at this Fiat 500. I finally made a decision what we're going to be doing with this engine. Unfortunately, it's not good news for this engine. I am going to be replacing it with a donor engine on similar mileage and a similar age. I've made this decision based on the fact that I think it's going to be time better spent replacing the engine instead of repairing the cylinder head gasket. As I mentioned in the previous video, I am a car trader, so I need to look at the quickest option to get this car back on the road and up for sale. On a positive note, prior to the engine being fitted to the car, we're going to be able to do a full service on the engine, a new timing belt, and it's going to have a good overall all round. This will ensure full reliability for the new owner. I'm now going to start by removing the arch lining on both sides. Just as an example, we've got a T30 screw here which is unfortunately rounded off due to corrosion. So I've started drilling it out and then I'm going to use an easy out to remove it. I've got to do this to remove the fog lights so we can access the rivets and drill those out. Okay, so we've removed both the arch liners now, and we're going to remove the front bumper, which will give us much more access to the engine. So with the front bumper out of the way, we're now going to remove the reinforcement bar, followed by the rad pack. Just so I don't lose the bolts, I'm going to put them back in the holes. I now remove the headlights from both sides. I'm now going to take the aircon condenser pipes off. It has been degassed prior to the removal of the pipes. I'm now going to suck all the coolant out of the radiator. I'm just removing all the fan motor wiring harness there. I can now remove the whole rad pack as one. With the front end of the car removed, we've now got better access to the engine. I'm going to start by removing the battery and all the other ancillaries around the engine. This became quite a fiddly task, but I managed to get through it. I'm now removing the OT sensor from the top of the exhaust manifold. putting some penetrating oil on the bolts there and removing the heat shield. Just removing the lower O2 sensor now. Again, putting all the nuts back onto the manifold so I don't lose them. Now removing the airbox. So I've just took the airbox off, and I found that the breather part connected to the inlet box has been sort of bodged back together with what looks like to be super glue or some kind of bonding agent. These are the things that you're up against again. So this has obviously been someone working on the car and they've just bodged it to make it work. That's okay, but now I have to pick up the cost for a new airbox. Now working on the rest of the air conditioning condenser pipe work, removing it from the pump. Just heating up the exhaust now, removing the half clamp. They can be quite tricky to remove because obviously they sort of bond together over time. So with the manifold removed and all the ancillaries around the engine disconnected, we can disconnect both the drive shafts and then remove the gearbox and then pull the engine out as one lump. Now removing the hub nuts from both sides so I can get the drive shafts out of the way, which will then in turn allow us to remove the gearbox. Again, using lots of penetrating fluid to allow you to remove the bolts easily. Popping out the left drive shaft there. Followed by the right. Again, using plenty of penetrating fluid around the gearbox bolts. Just propping the engine up to take the weight off the gearbox. Now I'm going to start removing the gearbox bolts. There's quite a lot of clips and connections to the gearbox. Now I'm going to start removing the top mount. I did find it quite difficult trying to get the gearbox out with that lower chassis arm in the way, so I'll be removing that to refit it. I can now move on to removing the engine. Just going to take the mount off the side there. I could have done with a stabilised bar for the crane, but I've not got one at the minute, so I have to make do with what we've got. Just disconnecting the final coolant pipes at the back of the engine. Excuse the camera angle here, there's a lot of my bottom in this. And there she goes. As easy as that. If only it was that easy. So we've finally removed the engine. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please stay tuned for next week's video as we're going to be looking at the donor engine, giving it a full service and fitting a new timing belt. We'll then fit the engine to the car, do all its run-up checks, take it on its first drive, hopefully with no faults, and then the car can be prepped, ready for sale. As I said, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks guys.